At this point, you guys know I say this every video, but this is my new favorite thing I've ever done. Ever since visiting Wind Cave National Park in South Dakota, I have been itching for my next cave fix. These underground worlds fascinate me. The unexplored mystery and the sheer size of them is unfathomable to comprehend. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have mentally prepared me for what I was about to see here in New Mexico, making this day easily my favorite day on the road so far. Carlsbad Cavern is located in southern New Mexico, here in the Guadalupe Mountains, which is also a national park, by the way. This national park offers people a chance to take a guided tour through the cave, or a self-guided tour by taking an elevator or walking through the natural entrance of the cave. As I am a fan of walking, I chose the natural entrance trail. This trail takes you through the massive opening to the cave and descends down to the big room, equivalent of walking down a 75-story building. I like how they have the Empire State Building as a reference for all the East Coast people. It's a cold one today. As I was making my descent, a group of birds flew out of the cave, and the acoustics were fantastic. So you have to whisper while going in here, because it echoes. It's echo chamber. So we won't be talking in this video. During the spring, summer, and early fall months, bats migrate to the cave where they nest every day. At night, they fly out of the cave to feast on insects and return in the early morning. It was winter when I went, so the bats were nowhere to be found. But I can only imagine what seeing a ton of bats flying out of the cave would look like. Honestly, stuff of my nightmares. I don't know why bats freak me out when they fly. Also, the National Park website said that they can see around 400,000 bats in the park each season, and that's a hard pass for me. No thank you. I was expecting the natural entrance to be a tiny hole, similar to the Wind Cave National Park. But this gaping hole in the earth really made me feel like I was stepping into a different planet, and I lost myself for the next 4 hours in the darkness of the earth. The natural entrance trail gives you a taste of the rock formations you get to see in the big room at the bottom of the trail. But for me, it was worth the whole hike just to look back up and see the cave breathe. It was 30 degrees Fahrenheit when I visited, and geothermal energy keeps the cave around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. The clashing of the temperatures created the visible water vapor that moved through the entrance of the cave, making it feel alive. The cave is literally breathing. So cool. An American actor who visited the park referred to this park as the Grand Canyon with a roof on it, and I could not agree more. This is huge. You can't tell on the video. Because the cave is so large and enclosed, it creates an echo chamber. This means that sound will bounce off the walls, causing an echo, which can disturb or spook the wildlife that resides in the caves. So they recommend being as quiet as possible and whispering when you need to talk. Although this one girl took it upon herself to sing in the big room, and it sounded amazing. And no, that girl was unfortunately not me. What I did do in the echo chamber was far, far, far more embarrassing. Sometimes you get too comfortable when you're being by yourself all the time. I accidentally farted in the echo chamber. I should be embarrassed, but it was just funny. After that important note, This cave is 30 miles long, which is tiny compared to the other cave in the park, which is 140 miles long. But that cave is not accessible to visitors. However, on this hike, I got to see a few miles of the cave, which just made me want to see more. That's directly above my head, those boulders. Scary. The origin story of the cave goes like this. I'm going to try to explain this to the best of my understanding here. So there were faults in the land where water was able to seep into the cracks many, many years ago. Hydrogen sulfide rich water would run off from the surrounding lands, but when the hydrogen sulfide water mixed with fresh rainwater, the oxygen carried by the rainwater reacted with the hydrogen sulfide to create sulfuric acid. This acid dissolved the limestone in the fault and in the fractures in the surrounding rock, carving out a hole over time to create the cave that we see today. Now that we finally made it to the big room is, as the name suggests, a very big room in height, length, and width, with a plethora of different historical artifacts and rock formations around every turn. This chamber is 8.2 acres. I will not bore you with the story of each of the rock formations, but just know that the drips of water are responsible for the formation. That's right, drips of water. Rainwater and runoff picked up carbon dioxide from the air in the soil, making the water acidic. The acidic water drips down into the cave, dissolving limestone along the way, causing the water to now carry calcite. These calcite-rich raindrops of water splash somewhere in the cave, and the repetitive drips of calcite-rich water drops over time form the crazy stalagmites we see throughout the cave today. Water drops are what built these beauties, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. But it makes sense when you see how smooth and rounded these rock formations look. Kind of like when you drip wet sand at the beach. The rate at which the water drops in a spot determine the size and the shape of the rock formation. There was so much more to see here, such as the ancient shoreline, pools of water, remnants of early cave exploration, such as ladders, and rope hanging from the cave ceiling. And finally, the scariest of them all, the bottomless pit. Spoiler alert, the bottomless pit is not actually bottomless, but it goes down another 140 feet. But with no lighting around it and such a dark, empty hole, it definitely felt like this could be bottomless and left a weird, ominous feeling in my stomach. Video does not capture the massive size of this location. It's hard to describe, but I truly felt incredibly small the entire time I was in this park, and it was marvelous. For any rock lovers or adventurers who need something to do on a cold, rainy day, this was the perfect park to visit. But for me, this was my last stop in the West for the winter before heading back east. And it was nice to end on a good note. And I'm emotional. Okay, I'm headed back to the East Coast today. Mixed feelings. Yeah, wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting an emotional reaction. I'm gonna go sort this out and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, I'm leaving and I'm only gonna think about the positives. I'm gonna be with my loved ones. I miss them so much. It'll be nice to see everyone. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna cry. So we're not even gonna entertain the thought. Alright, here we go. We got a 29-hour drive to get to my next destination. So, probably take a couple days. Or maybe we'll just go straight through. Rip it off like a band-aid. Bad idea. I get really cranky when I'm tired. You know you're back on the East Coast when you're stuck in an hour traffic jam for no reason. I haven't seen construction. I haven't seen a car accident. Google Maps doesn't even know what's up, but it's been an hour now. I'm so irritated. I hate this place. Honestly, at this point, it'd be faster to walk home. I will see you next time from the East Coast because we're going to do some adventures over there. I'm pretty excited. I have a list of things I want to do now that I am free and have a pretty sweet hotel on wheels. So, yeah. Stay tuned for the East Coast. Dun dun. Okay, to be honest, that cave, Carlsbad Cavern, it blew Wind Cave National Park out of the water. It did smell really weird though. It kind of smelled like if a cat were to pee on something, like a shirt or a blanket, and then you wash it without soap, and then you just like spray it once an hour. I was really seeing that sort of like mildewy urine smell. It was weird. But anyways, it got better as you got further down to the cave, but who knows? This is perfect.